Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and also watch us live on YouTube. Now to other stories. The APC has announced its zoning arrangement for the 10th National Assembly. The National Working Committee, in a statement released after a meeting held in Abuja on Monday, said that Senator Godswill Akpabio from Akwa Ibom is the preferred choice for Senate President, while Senator Barau Jibril from Kano will serve as the Deputy Senate President. And for the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin from Kaduna has been selected as the choice for the position of Speaker, with Honorable Ben Kalu from Abia to serve as his deputy. The party, however, called on party members, leaders, and Nigerians at large to continue working towards the peace and progress of the country beyond the leadership transition. And also, Action Alliance has withdrawn its protest petition at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, challenging the emergence of Tinubu as president-elect. The announcement of the withdrawal was made by the chairman, Adekunle Rufai Omuaje. This comes amidst a leadership crisis within the party, with Omuaje recognized by the court as the chairman. Now take a look.
The chairman of the party, Adekunle Rufai, justified the withdrawal of the party's protest petition to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal.
To start with, our party, Action Alliance, was neither challenging emergency of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu nor the victory of APC in this instance, but protesting the process adopted by the umpire, INEC, building up to the election. Our growth is with INEC and its approach to issues that concerns our party, spanning over months, build up to the election.
The national chairman of the party, with his national executive, had instructed that this petition should be filed when we filed it. And the basis for the petition was the crass disobedience of various court orders by INEC. This petition was in the main an attempt to bring INEC back to appreciate that no matter how powerful they are, they cannot disobey court orders.
However, INEC recognized AA National Chairman Kenneth Udeze and his counsel were both present at the court, also made their views known.
And this faction that filed a petition went on appeal. They appealed that judgment. It is pending before the Court of Appeal Abuja Division. Now, INEC, in compliance with that judgment, dealt with the Barrister Kenneth Udeze, late national chairman of Action Alliance. Now, why the appeal is pending, they filed this petition purportedly under Action Alliance, but the true and authentic leadership of Action Alliance was not aware of it.
I want to really congratulate every members of Action Alliance across Nigeria, because we have gotten to the end. Our opponents, those that have been fighting the leadership of the party, they wanted to be clever by half. At least they have seen what we have filed in court and they know they cannot respond. Reason why they have come today to withdraw their petition.
Adekunle insists that the withdrawal is, among other things, based on his belief that the president-elect, being a proponent of restructuring, will deliver the goods Nigeria needs to grow as a country. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal adjourned matters brought before it challenging the election of the President-elect Bola Tinubu to May 10, 2023. Now, to discuss these issues, we're now joined by Mazi Peter Okorapo. He is the National Secretary, Coalition of APC Support Groups. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Yes, this National Assembly leadership zoning conundrum in your party appears to be tearing the party apart, some will say, even with the recent development, that is the ratification, if you like, of the earlier position of the party concerning the prepared candidates. First of all, let me get your perspective or your views regarding this zoning by the APC. Was it in the interest of the generality of the APC members, or are there issues around it?
Well, thank you. First of all, it's very imperative that we take cognizance of the fact that intra-party politics is the nucleus of democratic practice. And APC historically, as a party, was a marriage of strange bedfellows. And that being as it is, we inherited myriad of people with different political ideology that came together to constitute the party. And in the turn of the leadership victory of the party, and interests began to clash. It's quite expected. But going forward, the party ought to, by this time, at this stage, been able to outgrow some of these tootling aches that we've been riding along with.
You're talking about 8 years.
Yes, you know. And I have expected that the people at the helm of affairs now, who are the actors and players all this while, should have known better. In the first instance, I would like us to understand there is a little error that the present leadership and stakeholders may have committed, maybe by way of oversight or something like that. I mean, when it comes to issues like this, it has to do with zoning of critical offices for the National Assembly, the 10th Assembly, which is a separate arm of government. It's expected that the NWC cannot unilaterally take decision on such matters. They should have
is it unilateral? Because yes. Last Friday there was a meeting, so to speak, between the president-elect, the national leadership of the party, and I think, some members of the NWC.
No.
So you think it's a unilateral decision?
Yes, I would say unilateral in the sense that procedurally it's a decision left for the NEC, National Executive Council of the party. What NWC need to do is really to make recommendation to NEC on a proposal they have for zoning prior to consideration microzoning to individuals. The whole process is so hasty and fraught with errors.
But is there time to spend? Because everyone is looking at the need to constitute for the emergence of the leadership of the National Assembly before the deadline.
You know what I'm saying? The time used up in doing things could have been used to do it right. That same time you're using to do it now wrongly.
But the party's national chairman keep talking about wider consultation. He did mention that the party has been carrying everyone along to ensure that everyone is on the same page with it with regards to this zoning arrangement.
No, what I'm talking about is constituted authority, not consultation, private discussion with people here and there. Constituted authority like the National Executive Council of the party, committee of the party, which is the highest decision-making body prior to the national convention of the party. Issues like this should have been referred after your consultations, your meetings here and there. You refer to the National Executive Council for proper ratification to say that this is the decision of the party.
Is there anything wrong, perhaps, with the candidates put forward by the party, or what is the grievances, entirely?
Well, you see, there is merriment when there is diversity, and when you close decision from the authorities that are empowered to take that decision, fundamental errors leads to wider error. Yes, they could have made a choice, but you can see that the choice they made had no alternative. It's a pinpoint recommendation.
Is it an imposition now?
Yes, he said we want this person. You didn't say let's choose from these persons. Are there persons that are interested? But the issue is not whether you choose this person or you zone to this person. I, as a person, I think the primary issue should be competence, experience, character. We are in an era where Nigerians are calling for credibility and integrity. It should guide our choice of who becomes a principal officer of the 10th Assembly, no matter the office in question.
Looking at the people in question, Senator Godswill Akpabio, happens to be also a ranking member of the Senate. Enjoys some sort of, support also of the senators elect and perhaps existing senators and so on. Senator Barrow Jibril, who happens to come from Kano, is also another ranking senator. Has gone through, all the rudiments, if you like, and understanding the National Assembly, the Senate in particular. Do you have issues around these candidates?
Yes, the issues I have is this. You have other agitators, you have other interested party. You have not harmonized the various agitators for these various offices together. And you have not compared them. You have not probed them for criticism. You have not looked at their performances in the past. You have not looked at their experience. You have not even looked at the challenging credibility questions around them, which are in the public domain, which I think should guide our choice of who becomes. I am quite aware that there are a lot of resistance to the issues and decisions being taken so far because of these paramount mistakes that have been made.
Yeah, looking at the resistance, coming within factions, if you like, emerge, or groupings emerge along the lines of those interested in the leadership positions. I've had some talking about the fact that nobody can decide for them who becomes the leader when it comes to the Senate or the the House of Representatives. Because these are internal issues that senators or lawmakers should be allowed to produce their leadership without interference. I've had, former governor of Zamfara State talking about that, and then there is also a group, emerging, strongly pushing for the Southeast, to be considered. And then there are also a number of ranking senators there who felt that one of them should be considered and all of that. How would you justify some of these grievances?
Yes, they're legitimate. They're justifiable because there are issues of equity, there are issues of justice, there is issues of political balancing, and there are issues of experience and competence. Take, for instance, from the Southeast, for instance, and the South-South. We have the person of distinguished Senator Steve Unaso, who have a humongous parliamentary experience and exposure. He has worked in the Green Chamber, served as elected officer in the Green Chamber, worked in the Red Chamber, served as elected senator in the Red Chamber, served the party as organizing secretary for over 4 years. He has comprehensive experience of parliamentary procedure, party management, and human management. He happened to be domiciled in the Southeast as an individual.
But there are a number of other contenders.
I'm coming. As an individual, his qualities towards that of zoning, no matter where it is considered, by experience, by competence, he towards above them all. And then we are looking at a parliament that will ensure smooth, credible governance of our next administration. We cannot shortchange quality for choice.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is this, even within the Southeast, a number of people have, emerged, indicating interest or wanting to be Senate President, for instance. We have the former governor Ojuzo Kalu, for instance, is also interested in the Senate. We have the likes of Benjamin Kalu, that is at the reps, or I think the Senate is also interested. So a number of people, that seems not to be harmony, even within the caucus, in the Southeast, with regards to who to present. Didn't you think, that could also be another undoing in this struggle?
Yeah, the reason is because of what I earlier pointed. Had the party recommended a zoning to the National Executive Committee, which houses a wider spectrum of stakeholders from all the zones, they would have been privy to what they got by zoning. They would have laid their arguments at the floor of the highest decision-making body of the party. When that is done, you go home that this is what you got for your zone. You won't see somebody coming for a speakership position and another person coming for a senior position if that had been done. They were laying the horse before the cart. It's a procedural error.
Okay, but some would say,
and I was thinking that people like Adams Oshomole, having been privileged to interface with the party administration, should have learned and borrowed some wisdom.
But some would say, you know, the president-elect has a lot of influence, if you like, in deciding who becomes, especially, I mean, should also be interested in who becomes Senate President or who becomes Speaker of the House of Representatives. We've seen what happened during the 8th Senate, you know, I mean the 8th National Assembly, where the indecision of President Muhammadu Buhari led to the emergence of a group, you know, outside the prepared choices and what have you. Perhaps that's the reason why the president-elect is also being mindful of who becomes what in terms of getting the leadership of the National Assembly.
Yeah, I have a very paradigm shift from that conception, in the sense that if you are interested in doing the right thing, there is no second choice to doing the right thing. It doesn't matter if you get the right person sitting at the Senate, he will do the right thing at all times. But when you begin to arrogate individuals to suit whatever you have in mind, it is no longer leadership for the nation. If you're talking about leadership for the nation, everybody must have his right to express his democratic rights. The democratic principle is three tiers of government: judiciary, legislature, and executive. The executive electioneering process or engineering has terminated. Are you getting what I'm saying? Right. Now we are now at the era of the legislature. My friend, I want to tell you, there is no senator there that is not capable of being a president. These are distinguished, accomplished Nigerians. It's a warehouse, it's a gathering of highly experienced personalities who have accomplished in various strata of life. And as such, they are competent enough to sit down among themselves and say, this person is better for us and for the country. It's not about individuals, it's about the nation.
Okay.
And that's what leadership is all about.
Yeah. Now that we're having this disagreement, if you like, or groups within, you know, raising concerns and perhaps mobilizing against the choice of the party, for instance, how do you think it will rub up, you know, on the chances of the party itself to even produce this leadership? Because, especially at the House of Representatives, there's a very slim margin, if you like, or I mean, the numbers are there. The opposition, they call themselves the greater majority, can also pull weight and perhaps decide or spring surprises. At the Senate, there could be also such you know, coming together and then mobilizing against all of this. How do you think this will impact on the party's chances going forward?
Yes, it's a major threat. The APC has 59 senators. The opposition put together has 50 senators. And in such circumstances, we are creating room for them to take advantage. Because the major contenders of the Senate election, Senate leadership election, are all APC stalwarts. And these are very influential people. And all it takes for them to decide who wins is just to pull 5 or 7 senators away. Which is very possible. Any of the major contenders can pull 7 senators away. And if that does, with alliance with the opposition, I mean, we lose the control of the Senate as per party.
So how do you think the party and the president-elect can resolve this, you know, if you like, stalemate?
No, the way I see it is that nothing is too late. I am very glad it started on time, so that if there are pending issues, it can be rectified or sorted out along the line before the day of inauguration of the 10th Assembly. And our president is a democratic personnel. And as such, he will want to show and prove that he is such by allowing a populist view to prevail. As long as such a person who is being trumped up is credible, experienced and competent, and probably standing on the tripod of equity and justice and fairness.
Right. Thank you very much, Mazi Peter Okorafor. As a public affairs analyst, he's also the National Secretary of the Coalition of APC support groups. I thank you very much for your perspectives.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, this is where we come to the end of Daily Politics tonight. We do hope you will join us tomorrow. We'll be back with another interesting personalities so that together we can work towards nation building. Thank you very much for staying with us. I am Shafiu Suleiman.